No introduction from above, so let me introduce myself. My name is Sascha Kriegel. You see it up there. I work in a planetarium. I don't mention the name of the planetarium because they do not pay me for being here. So if you want to contact me, there's my address. But of course, what I'm talking about is I just want to give you a talk, no lecture now. You don't learn new technical stuff. Because what I'm going to present you as a Fulldome show is Menino. You see the poster there, which is a production we did in my Planetarium. It's one of two shows you will see here where I was involved last year. We had Schrödinger's Birds, which also will be screened here from Jens Isensee, which was produced in the same way in my Planetarium. And the thing I'm talking about is I'm the media producer in that Planetarium. It's right in the middle of Germany, in the city where Volkswagen has its headquarters, so you know where I'm working at. And we have a 15-meter dome with an AstroTech installation and 6 size velvets. And of course, we used to have a size power dome, we still do, but as I grew up with a Digistar 3 system in Kiel back in the days, and so I managed then to install a Digistar 5 in November in my Planetarium, running it on size velvets, which was very important for that particular show, because we do not have creative universities in Wolfsburg. It's a city of cars. We have 125,000 inhabitants and 55,000 people working at that car factory. So I can get people to build cars, but not to produce creative multimedia shows. So we have 25 kilometers away the city of Braunschweig, where there is a University of Arts, and they do lots of real filming, and there are some really cool people who do film. And one of those people, Professor Oli Plank, provided me some students that year. They want to use the Red Epic, and I don't have staff to handle them, but I promised them if they work with you in a planetarium, they can use the Red Epic. So I was standing there with 3 students. You can see them here, hopefully. Yes, so this is from left to right, Flavio Brasola, Laura Sänger, and Eva Tucholke. Those 3 said, we want to use the Red Epic. And the professor told them, if you want to use it, you have to do something for the planetarium. They said, planet what? They had no idea what a planetarium is. They had no idea of Fulldome. They just were filmmakers, or at least Eduard was, and Flavio a little bit, and Laura is an artist and designer. And they appeared in my planetarium and said, so we need to do a master thesis in communication arts, and so what can we do here? And I said, yes, this is a planetarium. Now you have 1 year of time and have 3 young people with like no budget, a little bit of software equipment, but of course I had a Digistar in my planetarium, but they did not have in Braunschweig, which was 25 kilometers away. So first we had lots of meetings where I had to introduce them into a dome, because I just suggest that most of you now know what planetarium is, what a digital Fulldome theater is, and they did not. So the first thing I had to do with those 3 people was to show them stuff which is not stuff. So I'm lucky enough to have a Star Master projector which I can hide. It's on an elevator. And I said, okay, ignore that machine. We just go to digital Fulldome projection. And I showed them stuff, what can happen in a dome. So for example, Elena Doll is here. She made a piece called The Void of Pier. I showed it to them. I showed them stuff like from Ralph Heinzen. There was early action. We saw that before here too. And I showed him Space Park from Dome 3D, all that stuff that they get an idea, and they were flashed and said, how can we produce with that? And I said, okay, you are filmmakers, so just keep on making films, but just think out of the box, think in a bowl like this here. And so it started out that first thing, of course, when you do a film is you have to make a script. And they did some scripts, and that was the beginning. And I said, okay, that could work. And it was luckily the year 2014. The year of the football championship in Brazil, and Flavio is from Brazil, so they had the idea of a young boy who is earning his money on the street by doing some circus things, and yeah, they said we build a story around that and make it fit into the year 2014 to Brazil. So this is where the title comes from. Menino is Portuguese. I guess Pedro can tell me what it means in English. Menino must be something like. Okay, but I only know you at the moment. A boy, yeah, okay. I know there are some, and I don't want to tell bullshit here, as my Portuguese is like non-existent. And so, okay, they started making that storyboard, and then they said, okay, we need a setup, and It turned out to become a great multinational show because Flavio is from Brazil, and then they had a photographer who still lives in Rio de Janeiro, or again lives there, and they phoned him and told him go there to a certain place which Flavio figured out on maps, on Google Maps. He said, okay, there's a corner of Rio de Janeiro we need for that show, and they sent that guy there and said, make us a 360-degree panorama. And we just did it and sent it to them. And then we did lots of tests. For every single shot they did, we had to test stuff in the dome. And that was a problem because normally if you want to display stuff in Fulldome, all the different systems, no matter if it is Evans Sutherland or Skyscan or RSA Cosmos or Zeiss, you need to do kind of slicing, and they could not do that. But luckily it turned out that Digistar 5 accepts a whole variety of formats, just out of the box like H.264 and Windows Media. So we figured out a way how they could produce a Fulldome preview with simply using After Effects, and then they just brought me a hard drive and we screened that stuff in the dome. But we had nearly all 2 weeks, we had a meeting in the dome because they had no idea of how things work in the dome and had to test it. So the next thing also was we needed music for it, and there is now I have to rely on Pedro again, there is a band, a Brazilian band, Chimpanzés de Gaveta, or however you will pronounce it. It's a Brazilian band that never been in Germany, but again, Flavio knew them, and so they provided a soundtrack for that show. And at the bottom picture you can see Sascha Kriegel from Austria, who made the mix, and he also never produced something for a dome, and never produced a 5.1 mix for audience like here in a dome seen around. But the most challenging thing was that movie should be a movie filmed with an epic, so with actors. And I said, what can we do to get actors in a dome and place them? And yeah, after some testing, we figured out the most legal way, or the best way to do it is just use green screens. And we had lots of testing, how far have the people to be away from the camera to not appear too big on the dome. And actually, what you will see in a few minutes has 25 actors, has 2 dogs and 1 horse captured in front of a green screen. So, and that was, again, that was a no-budget production. All those actors, all those animals were friends, and they figured out a way to film that, and we did key again. Digistar 5 was very helpful after the first shootings of that green screen scenes. There is a chroma key, a live chroma key feature in Digistar, so we just dropped the videos into the dome and chroma keyed it in real time to get an impression of where to position the camera and stuff. And then, of course, as I told before, the workflow was quite simple. They used the Red Epix camera, they used Apple Final Cut Pro, and for compositing After Effects, everybody knows that. I don't have to tell you how to use After Effects. And after 1 year, finally they managed to create a show called Menino with like no experience. I did not help them much. I just provided the dome, and what I did from the Planetarium side of view, my boss told me, okay, just do. We did not ask money from them, and my boss did not ask money. They just said, if you want to do it, do it. So we had all the possibilities, and we just put a lot of time into that show. And yeah, in the end, we got a nice show, which we then handed in for the Jena Fulldome Festival again, and just in May this year, the Menino was the winner of the Performance Award, like the Schrödinger's Birds was 1 year before. And my only part in that show was to tell them, just do it. Sometimes they ask me questions like, how can we do this and that, how should we place that actor, and will that work? And I never told them, no, you can't do that. I always said, try it. Just try it, bring it to me, and we watch it. Because whenever you produce something for the dome, even in the year 2014, it is still new. There is no paradigm like in standard film productions. If you go to standard film productions, you can ask Joachim, he says, I just produce Fulldome movies like standard movies. Yes, you can do that, that's a safe way, but in the end, there is no right or wrong. So whatever you do, if you are a producer and want to produce, or if you are someone like me who wants other people to produce stuff, never tell them, no, that will not work. Just let them do, and just try to help them support to just do it and watch it in the dome. And yeah, so I did that, and in the end, we ended up with a little bit more than 5-minute show. And enough talking from me. Those are three again. This is my nice little planetarium. And you will now see the winner of the Jena Fulldome Festival 2014 Performance Award, Menino by Laura, Flavio, and Eva. Thank you very much.